everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Josh, and today, as you can probably tell, we are no longer in beautiful Hawaii. We had to leave the amazing island paradise behind and come back home and come back to the real world and go back to work and all that kind of thing that you do in the new year. But you know what? It's okay, because I am so excited for this year and what it will hold for myself and my family and this channel and everything that we will do together here. And we're kicking that off with my 1 year anniversary, 1 year YouTube anniversary Q&A. So as you probably know, if you're a subscriber of mine, I put out a call for questions ahead of this video, and you guys responded by the boatload. I wasn't expecting to get nearly as many questions as I have, and so I'm going to try to get through all of them. I am going to try to do this quickly, though if you know me at all, I don't do anything briefly, I don't do anything quickly. But I'm going to try to get through all of this. Before we get started, these are in no particular order, although the first 4 or so are questions that like tons of people ask. Like I get these 4 questions kind of all the time. So those are going first. Let's go ahead and dive in. So the 4 questions I get most often are, what made you want to start your channel? And this is a great question, and this might trigger some people and it might be a little bit controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway, just because I don't think anyone outside of my subscribers are watching this. But I started my channel because when I was in the market for my 2023 NX Hybrid, I was really looking for actual owner content. So I wanted to see videos and just, content from people who actually owned the car that I was looking at buying. And the thing about YouTube, car videos and automotive content on YouTube, is I feel like a lot of the content out there is no longer truly like review content, and it's a lot more about marketing the vehicle and just making content for volume, and because that's what makes people money on YouTube, and getting clicks and all this kind of thing. I mean, there are exceptions to this. There are some amazing YouTubers and some amazing videos out there, but by and large, I feel like a lot of the content on YouTube that has to do with cars and automotive is more than not just kind of advertising and doing lip service for the manufacturers. And so what I was looking for when I was buying my car and when I started this channel was I wanted to make videos for people like me who were actually going to buy the car, use it as their daily driver, use it normally. And I'm very boring, I think, all things considered. I drive my cars on road to and from the office, on road trips and things like that. And that was the kind of content I was really looking for and that I wanted to create when I started my channel. And let me make this very clear. My goal here is never to amass views or subscriber count or make this my full-time job where I'm making, like a living off of YouTube. So anyway, that's why I started my channel. It will always be my primary focus here. And yeah, let's go ahead and move on. Will you do reviews of other cars? This is not going well to begin with. I apologize. Will you do reviews of other cars? Yeah, if I can get my hands on one or, cars that I find interesting, absolutely, I will do other car reviews. The thing is, like, kind of building on that last question, I'm not a professional YouTuber or, auto reviewer or auto journalist or anything like that. So I don't have access to press cars and things like that. But if I can figure out a way to get cars, to do more videos, I would absolutely do that because I think this is so much fun. Okay. Next up, do you work for Toyota? You seem to know so much about them. No, I don't work for Toyota. I have done contract work for them in the past, and I work in technology and software and IT. I did contract, I was a freelancer with them many years ago back in California when head office was still in Torrance. For any of my SoCal people out there, you may remember those days before they moved out here to Plano in Texas. But I don't work for them presently, and I don't hold any equity in the company. And the reason I mention that is I know there are people out there who do work for Toyota who make videos, and I don't think that that's appropriate, because I think there's a conflict of interest there, right? Are you making the videos and showing the product because you hold stake in that company or you work for them? For the people who do that, again, no hate to them, but you really kind of have to question someone's motives if they work for the company and they're making videos that are supposed to be consumer advice. Getting back up in my soapbox about that. It's questionable. So I do not work for Toyota. I do not hold any vested, interest in the company. And so I feel like I feel okay making videos because I don't have any stake in their success. Okay, what is your job aside from YouTube? So I will not give you the. I'm gonna keep some details to myself on that, but I work for the company who's headquartered at 270 Park in Manhattan, in IT and software engineering, development and that kind of thing. So that's my day job, and it's funny because I love my job. I love what I do, and it's been that's what I've done for the last how many years. But it's not that creative, especially once you get into like upper management. And so this is kind of like my creative outlet, where I can just kind of create and explore and experiment and try new things without impacting 40 million American households, which is what the company I work for, that's who we serve. So yeah. Okay, next up. Do you think Toyotas are too expensive right now? Why are their prices so high? Yeah, I have mixed feelings about this because I can understand to a certain extent why the prices of cars are so high today, and it has to do with like supply chain and, especially after COVID and the many, many years of economic uncertainty and the yen falling and all this kind of thing. I understand why prices are so high, but I don't. Like I've said, I think I've been quite clear that like the Land Cruiser specifically and the new GX and some of the new, like even the new RX plug-in hybrid, some of these cars have no business being as expensive as they are. And that was one reason I was so excited about the Civic that, my mother just bought, that we drove in Hawaii a couple weeks ago, because that car, that base model Civic LX, $23,000, and you got what I really felt like was a $35,000 or $40,000 car. I mean, that's what it felt like inside. But then you get into like some of these new Toyota cars that are $35,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, and it's like, what am I paying for in here? RX plug-in hybrid, $75,000 MSRP. TX plug-in hybrid, $85,000. I think MSRP. GX is like also tops out, I think, around $80,000 to $85,000, and then you have to add tax, title, license, paint protection, warranty, tire, whatever on top of that. So yes, some Toyotas definitely are overpriced, and it's something that, as much as I am a Toyota loyalist, I will not buy Toyotas in the future if they continue to be that expensive, and you have to pay that much to get like a GX the way you would actually want one, at that 82. I think when I built mine out the way I wanted it was like $81,000, which is like $16,000 more than what I paid for this GX, which I am very happy with. So as much as I love the brand, I might not buy them in the future. Now, with all that said, I do want to sort of counter-argue myself and go to bat a little bit for Toyota here, because the other thing that is happening in the auto market today that is driving the prices of these traditional gas and hybrid vehicles up is the fact that Toyota and every other automaker out there is making huge bets and spending copious amounts of money developing the next generation of their portfolio. And a lot of, even Toyota, who is a well-moneyed automaker, they've got billions of dollars in the bank in cash. Even they could not afford to develop that next generation of vehicles solely with the cash that they have in the bank. So in Toyota's case, for example, I have a feeling that that's why we see the prices of these traditional gas and hybrid cars going through the roof. I also think that that's why Lexus is kind of skimping in some ways on their current products, like the new NX, the new RX, and the new GX, because these may very well be the last of the ICE Lexus vehicles. Lexus has already stated, at this point in time anyway, that by the end of the decade, by the end of the 2020s, they want to be a full battery electric automaker. And that is a hugely expensive proposition and goal that they have set out for themselves, to fully develop a brand new all-electric Lexus portfolio. That is billions and billions of dollars to get it right and to get products to market that are competitive and that people actually want to buy. Because again, Toyota as a whole in EVs is behind. So I have a feeling that's partly why we see some of these products, these new products from Lexus, like the NX, like the RX, and like the new GX, coming out kind of mediocre, because while those cars are on the market selling, Toyota is raking in extra cash profit that they can then apply to that BEV portfolio of the future. An extra $500 on a RAV4 or an extra $2,000 on a GX is a ton of money in the big picture. And so going back to the beginning of this question, the beginning of my answer to this question, again, that's why I say I can kind of see to a certain degree why the prices of these cars are getting a little bit outrageous. Is it right to charge the consumer to fund your future initiatives? I don't know. But is it what needs to happen? Absolutely. And until people are no longer willing to pay the exorbitant, astronomical, slightly ridiculous pricing that Toyota is putting out there today, they'll continue to do it because we as consumers are willing to pay it. Okay, next up, your videos always seem so well thought out. Do you plan them? Yes. I am a planner in life in general. I have to have everything planned out, mapped out, written out, notes taken, spark notes, cliff notes, all that kind of thing. I don't know why. I just always have been that kind of person. And so I'll put some screen grabs or video in the video. When I do a video, I legitimately write out a script, and then I like read and think and edit and, you know, whatever with that script for weeks before I do a video. This interior is essentially the same in terms of materials and design as what you find in every other Civic model out there, and also many CR-V and Accord models. And I'm guessing that that's because it would have been more expensive to design and engineer all new cheaper parts than to just reuse the nicer parts from other cars in this base model Civic. And the reason being, I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone else out there on YouTube, but I think we've all seen those videos where you can tell that the person just got into the car, picked up their phone, and started recording. And so they're going off on tangents, they're talking about all kinds of nonsense, and much like I'm doing right now, and there was no real thought put into that video. And that drives me up the wall because I value the fact that people are watching these videos, and I value the fact that people have taken time out of their day to watch something that I made. And I feel very strongly, and I'm not trying to say, I feel bad right now because I feel like I'm putting other people down, and I don't want to do that. And I feel like I'm saying I'm better than other people, and I'm not better than anyone else out there. But I value that you all take the time to watch, and I want to put the best content out there for you guys because you are taking time away from things that you could be doing to watch the nonsense that I make. And I want my nonsense to be as good as my nonsense possibly can be. So yes, I plan videos, I write scripts, I spend hours in the driveway. My neighbors probably think I'm insane because I'm constantly out here with a camera, you know, making videos and stuff like that. But yes, I do plan, and yes. Answer the question, yes. Okay, can you talk about the difference between ceramic coating and the paint protection film you use? Which one is better, or should I do both? I actually have never ceramic coated a car, and I'm sure my guys over at Authentic Details would gasp in horror if they heard that. But for me, the thing I care most about is protecting my cars from dings and scratches and scrapes. And that's what paint protection film does. And actually the next video after this, we're going to take our Camry to Authentic Details, and they have very graciously allowed us to come behind the scenes to watch how it's done. And so I will have a video out on that at some point that I hope will be interesting and helpful to all of you out there who kind of want to see how the sausage is made, so to speak. I do paint protection film because I like the dings and the scratches and the scrapes. What ceramic coating does, I'm not an expert, but what my understanding of it is that it's more so to keep your car kind of with that, kind of having that wet, glossy look. So, you know, showroom fresh kind of glossy look. But the misconception of ceramic coating is that it provides protection to your car against damage, which it doesn't really, because it's essentially a glass polymer that kind of bonds to the surface of the paint. But it's not like the 3mm thick paint protection film that I use that can actually protect your paint from rock chips and scratches and scrapes and dings and road debris and all that kind of thing. So I like paint protection film because of that. But talk to a good detail shop. Don't talk to the dealer. Talk to a good detail shop. Tell them how you use your car. Tell them what you value. They'll probably give you a price, and then you can decide if it's something that if you're willing to pay that. Okay, the next question is also about paint protection film, but it's a little bit different. So I saw your video about PPF and wanted to get your take on it. After 6 months, I want to go back and do PPF. I noticed you did it at a non-Lexus body shop. Should I avoid the Lexus dealer for PPF? And then what level of coverage should I go for? And do you have a preference on the type of PPF? I had no idea there were different kinds until recently. Yeah. Okay, so skip the dealer entirely, because the dealer rarely, unless it's like a really great Porsche dealer or something, probably will not do the kind of PPF that I do on my cars. Oftentimes, especially with like the Lexus and Toyota dealers, what they put on is like a really thin, kind of like almost a cellophane-like wrap on the car. And it's usually just like a little strip here and there. So skip the dealer all day long when it comes to paint protection, and go to a good detail shop. My detail shop, and what we have on the GX will be on the Camry as well here in a couple weeks, is called Expel, which is XPEL, 3mm thick PPF. And that is it's a great product. My detail shop warranties it for 10 years, and it's thick enough that it's pretty substantial, where it can, in fact, deflect a lot of things from hitting the body of your car. And they seem to be one of the best out there, although, again, I'm not the expert, but I've never had any problems with it, and it's done beautifully on our GX. Okay, this next one it made me laugh, and it's really funny, but it's a great question. What do you think about people who say that Toyota people can't be car enthusiasts? And I love this question, because I am unapologetically a Toyota enthusiast. And, you know, here's the thing. There are so many people out there who are assholes on the internet and will be like, you know, with their leased Audi A4 or something going, ew, Toyota, and ew, you know, RAV4 and whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, I own my cars and you lease your little A4. So, okay, that's whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I think you should enjoy and obsess about whatever it is you like. Life is too short to worry about what other people think of what you do and what you like, and, you know, that kind of thing. Like, that was kind of the big lesson for me in my 20s, is like, I'm going to march to the beat of my own drummer. I'm going to do whatever I like and buy the things I like, and, you know, make my nonsense videos about my Toyotas and all the kind of things I care about. And I don't care what anyone else thinks. So for all the people who leave like little nastygram comments, I'm like, I laugh and delete them. But you know, people collect stamps and people collect Stanley Cups, and I'll never understand either one of those. But if that's what you love and that rocks your boat, and that, you know, or floats your boat, and that rocks your world, go after it. Live your life. Do you, and enjoy it.
Everybody else is like, look at me. I'm, you know, pay attention to me. And I'm like, well, this is what I do. You can do whatever the you want to do. And I'm just having fun here. Yeah.
Okay, can you talk about the way you buy both inexpensive cars and the most basic trim of cars, and then also really nice cars that are fully loaded? Not a knock on you, but most people only do one or the other. This is a great question, and I was kind of happy and amused that someone asked this. So I buy when I buy a car, I'm buying it for one of two reasons. So, and the two cars, you can't see that. The RAV4 is sitting next to me in the driveway. The two reasons I will buy a car, one being it's something that I love. So it's an emotional thing, and it's something I want to keep and hold on to forever. So I'm willing to spend money on it. So this GX is a perfect example of that. I want to have this for, you know, as long as it'll run or the rest of my life. And I kind of approach different other things the same way. Like, I'll buy a nice piece of jewelry because I know I can wear it until I'm 80. But then other times, like with the RAV4, I'm buying it because I need I need it as an appliance. So the Prius and the RAV4 specifically, like, those are daily drivers. They're meant to get beaten up. They're meant to be driven into the ground. And like the RAV4 and the Prius, we didn't put PPF on because I just didn't care about them the same way. And it sounds terrible. I love those cars. I love the RAV4, but I love it for a different reason than I love this GX. So if we're looking for an appliance-like vehicle, and the vehicle is going to be a driving appliance, like a daily driver kind of thing, then I'll buy the base model, cheapest version of the car I can get. Again, much like that Civic, that's really why I love that Civic, because that is an amazing driving appliance. If all you want is a car to get from point A to point B, that Civic, phenomenal choice. Okay. was there a reason you didn't get captain's chairs in your GX? You've mentioned that you specifically looked for one with the bench seat. Yes, as you can see right there. So the reason I did that with the GX was because I primarily use this as a 2-row vehicle. I don't even think I've ever, which I'm thinking about it now, I should probably raise that 3rd row seat just to make sure it still works, but I don't think I've ever even opened up that 3rd row in the almost 6 months I've owned this car now, and probably will never need to. And the thing with the GX is if you use the car the way I do and you never put that seat up, it's kind of weird having an open, because so see where the finger is, that goes away if you have captain's chairs, because it's basically just 2, chairs. And then it looks really weird to me if you never use the 3rd row, because then there's a big ugly hole into the cargo area, and because there's no seat here, you can see right into that folded 3rd row. It looks stupid in my opinion. So that was why we bought the GX with the bench seat, and I hunted for this one because all of them seem to come with that bench seat or with the captain's chairs, and I didn't want it because I knew I was never going to use it. So yeah. Okay, same person also asks, what is NuLuxe and why do you prefer it? So NuLuxe is what we have in this car, what I had in the NX, and it's very similar to what was in my 4Runner as well. Toyota calls it Softex, Lexus calls it NuLuxe, BMW calls it Sensitech, Mercedes calls it MB-Tex, and every manufacturer's got some version of it. NuLuxe and Softex, Sensitech, MB-Tex, whatever, is a synthetic leather. It's faux leather. It's technically vinyl because it's a plastic product, but don't think of like 1980s Corolla kind of vinyl seats. The thing I like about NuLuxe is, especially on a Lexus, like a Lexus GX, your alternative, the real leather product, is semi-aniline leather. Semi-aniline leather is open pore leather, so think about, like your skin. Okay, that's kind of what it is. And the problem with that, well, a problem for some people like me with that, is that real leather product will stretch and fade and wrinkle, and you've seen, if you look at like a Lexus from the 90s, you can see all that, and that's called patina, and some people really, really love that look. Other people like me, that just drives me up the wall when my car starts looking like a haggard old piece of luggage. And so the thing I love about NuLuxe and the synthetic product from any manufacturer is that this stuff will look exactly the same way, with care. This faux leather product will look as good in 10 years as it does today. And it will never stretch, it will never fade, it will never wrinkle, it will never crease as long as you take care of it. And the thing that most people don't know about NuLuxe and Softex is really interesting. So the seat cushion, the foam in the seat in NuLuxe, is actually bonded to the NuLuxe shell of the seat, where in leather products, like with leather seats, that's not the case. That's why you see sagging and wrinkling, and you can sometimes see the leather upholstery separating from the seat cushion foam itself, because leather is supposed to expand and crease and wrinkle and stretch over time. So for care and wear and tear and just looking good over the long term, NuLuxe is what you want to buy, and that's why I have always chosen cars with the synthetic product. Okay, next question. I'm ready to buy a 2024 NX350h luxury with the moonroof. Is there any reason to hesitate on the vehicle itself? No, I don't think so. As long as you know what you're getting into, and again, going back to, you really have to, again, go watch my NX videos, specifically my 6-month in review and the video I did right before we traded ours. Because it's a great car, and I don't want people to think that they shouldn't buy it because of what I said. It's just that you have to understand what you are getting with an NX or RX hybrid today, and what you're not getting with an NX or an RX hybrid. So I think you're getting an amazing car that will probably run for 10 to 20 years and 200,000-300,000 miles, but you're not getting what I consider to be the same kind of luxury product that you used to get, like with this GX, with the old RX, with the ES. You're not getting that with some of the new Lexus products out there. But if you're okay with that, I think you'll absolutely love the NX hybrid. Okay, would love to get your thoughts on the whole idea of fuel cell cars, so the Mirai from Toyota, which we looked at in Hawaii. I love the design, but the hefty price and the fuel cell drivetrain turns me off. Yeah, The thing about hydrogen is, I think it's a great and will really become a major fuel source in the future to get away from fossil fuels. However, hydrogen is really great for like industrial machinery and things that can never run on a battery, and like long distance heavy duty lorries and trucks. So, you know, I think it's weird. I think it's kind of weird that Toyota and Hyundai and a few others have started with hydrogen powered cars, because cars can very easily and very well run on a battery. So I think that's probably the best solution for cars, is going to, you know, like full BEV or plug-in hybrid. I don't know. I love the design. I'm with you. I love the design of the Mirai. As you guys saw in Hawaii, I think it's gorgeous. Would I buy one? No, not really, unless you like gave it to me for free, or you gave it to me for like $10,000. And you can get, if you buy a Mirai, if you're in a market with a Mirai, you can get like, I think 3 years of free hydrogen. The thing to know about hydrogen though also is, there are hydrogen shortages. So both Hawaii and California repeatedly over the past couple of years have had points where there's no hydrogen available. And so what happens then is you take your car to the Toyota dealer or the Hyundai dealer. They give you a gas-powered loaner car to drive until they can get hydrogen to put in your Mirai. It's a really finicky power source, and I don't think it's... Maybe one day we'll have good hydrogen cars. We're not there yet. We have much more mature BEVs today. Okay. Same person, also interested in your thoughts on the BZ4X, as we're looking to get an EV, PHEV, or HEV. However, the Toyota options for EV and PHEV are far and few and are all expensive, yes. Ugly, no clue what the black panels are all over the BZ4X or both. Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. This question came in before I did my BZ4X video. You can go watch that. I don't think the BZ4X is ready for prime time, but I also think that all EVs, for the most part, are kind of in their first generation. So I'm waiting for EV technology and EV cars to mature a little bit before I jump on board. PHEVs, I would buy one all day long, as you probably know with the RAV4 Prime. Like, I will not give that car up. The problem with PHEVs, though, as you called out in the question, freaking expensive, especially now. Like, Toyota's jacking up the prices on RAV4 Primes and the TX PHEV and the RX PHEV. When we bought ours, it was $30,000, and you couldn't get a Tesla for that price. Today, at $75,000 for an RX PHEV, I would skip that and just go with like a Tesla Model Y or something, or an Audi e-tron or whatever. Because I really don't think, and I've had comments from people who paid $50,000 for a RAV4 Prime SE, and my jaw was on the floor, because I'm like, look, no hate to any of you out there who paid that much for a RAV4 Prime. It's not worth it. Don't spend $50,000 on a RAV4, like, or $60,000 on a RAV4 or whatever. Like, you have to be able to get some kind of discount or incentive or credit or whatever on these cars to make it worth it for you, because no. So I think if you're not willing to pay the price for a Toyota PHEV today, which I might honestly myself would probably not, you might want to look at a BEV from someone else. And if you buy any kind of EV, lease it, because nobody knows what the next couple of years are going to look like for EVs. We may make huge improvements in battery technology, in range, in charging speed, in architecture, battery chemistry, all that kind of thing, where the EVs that we have today they won't ever be worthless. But you know, you think about, would you buy an iPhone from 5 years ago? I wouldn't. And it's the same kind of thing with EVs. You know, would you buy a Nissan Leaf, right, from like 2014 or 2015 today? Probably not. So the long-term value question of EVs is kind of a question mark. And then you look at, you know, everyone is adopting the Tesla standard, or what they call NACS standard, in EVs. And then we're going to have all these cars with the old charging ports. So kind of like how, you know, Apple went from the 30-pin to Lightning to USB-C. The same thing's happening with cars. The difference is, you know, we replace our iPhones every couple of years because they're only like, what, $1,000. That's a $50,000 car that you're buying. Most people are not replacing those every 2 years. So lease it if you buy an EV. And yeah. Okay, next question. Actually, this is from the same person. Third, I'm wondering about your thoughts on the Crown Signia. How will it fit into the Toyota lineup, and how it'll be priced, as it seems to be like it's in the same category as the Venza, a more premium two-row crossover from Toyota. Crown Signia, I was really excited about it because it really is the spiritual successor to the original Venza, because the second gen Venza was a RAV4, so it was way smaller than the original Venza. The problem with the Crown Signia currently is it has the basic powertrain out of the RAV4 hybrid, the NX hybrid, the Camry hybrid. That's too small for that big a car. And go watch my RX video if you haven't seen that. So the Crown Signia is essentially the Toyota version of the Lexus RX. Little lower to the ground, but same basic concept. Two-row, mid-size, premium-ish crossover. When I drove the RX with that same powertrain, it was slow AF, it was loud AF, because that engine's having to work so damn hard to move that big car around. All right, let's go ahead and open this up full throttle. So again, as you could hear, gone are the days of the V6. This is no longer that creamy, smooth, refined power plant. And the other thing too, with that engine being downsized, it's not just the noise that it creates, but accelerating on that on-ramp. Okay, so I probably started at about 15 miles per hour and then got up to maybe 75, which is the speed limit for this road here. I had to be foot on the floor that whole time to get us up to speed. And I think the same thing is going to be true of the Crown Signia. Now, the thing to know about the Crown Signia is it is technically a Crown Estate. And in Japan, they have a plug-in hybrid version of it. So it would kind of be like the RX 450h Plus plug-in hybrid. That would be a much better powertrain. The question of that would be the cost. Again, the RX plug-in hybrid, freaking $75,000 car. The Crown Signia would probably be maybe $10,000, $15,000 cheaper, but that's still $60,000. And that's, I don't know about that. So Crown Signia, if fuel economy is your biggest concern, and that's the only thing you care about, I think it probably will be a great choice. But if you care about a nice drive, like a nice powertrain and enough power underfoot and quiet, smooth linear acceleration, you're probably not going to get that in that Crown Signia. Go test drive a standard RX 350 hybrid, not the 500h turbo hybrid, but the standard RX hybrid, and it will give you a pretty good idea of what the Crown Signia will be like. Although I'm imagining that they're going to have to make the Toyota a little bit less refined than that Lexus, which is already not refined to begin with, because you have to differentiate the Toyota somehow. So try that, see what you think. Not for me. Okay, next question. What do you think about Lexus's paradigm shift away from classic American luxury? So wood trim, leather, plushness, chrome, big engines, design, pass quality, etc. I think you guys know how I feel about that at this point, because I've complained about it enough for a lifetime. It's a bad time to be a car enthusiast in the world, because cars are really becoming computers, and they're just not building them the way they used to because, of fuel economy standards. And the way you achieve better fuel economy is to make the car as light as you possibly can and put as small an engine in there as you possibly can. So like the new RX, turbo 4s, hybrid 4s, turbo hybrid 4s. Thinner, lighter plastics on the inside. And believe it or not, like taking 5 pounds out of a car makes a big difference in terms of that car's weight and fuel economy on the road just by doing that alone. So as a result of that, because everyone is trying to move to, make the most efficient cars possible, you look at all these new cars, the plastics are crap because they have to be as thin as they possibly can be. And that is why I bought this GX when I did. And it's funny because I get comments every now and again like, you bought a dinosaur, you're so stupid. And I'm like, I think we're misunderstanding the point, because I didn't buy this car in spite of its age. I bought it because of its age, because I wanted a car that was made the way that they were made back in 2009. I don't want a car the way, that's built the way that they're built in 2023. So it's a shame. But the thing is, I think I was born at like the perfect time to be able to have experienced, old school luxury growing up, in the 80s, in the 90s, and in cars from the 80s and the 90s, and being able, being the age I am, and being able to have, to have bought this car when I did, because this is really, like, this GX, the 4Runner, they really are the last of the old school tank-like Toyotas. So that's my thought on the paradigm shift. Okay, moving on, next question. I was personally amazed by the new Honda CR-V Hybrid Touring. Me too. Okay, I'm so glad this question came in, because I don't know if everyone out there has... A lot of people will shit on Hondas without having test driven their new cars. And as you saw in that Civic, Honda has done amazing things with their new cars. And like this person says, with the CR-V Sport Touring or Hybrid Touring, yeah, it rides and drives and feels better than a Lexus, than my NX. I'm going to say that flat out. And that's why I originally wanted that CR-V Sport Touring over the NX. Okay, but back to this question. However, in Canada, the Lexus NX 350h is only $6,000 more expensive. Which one would you choose if you had to pick? And I'm going to put the pricing that they gave me here on screen. I think you get a huge bang for your buck with the CR-V, which is why I wanted it. And you don't get the same bang for your buck with the NX. So what I mean by that, though I know your pricing in Canada is kind of... Honda pricing in Canada is kind of off. So here in the US, a Sport Touring CR-V, you're getting a luxury car ride for $40,000. In Canada, obviously, that's not the case. So in Canada, at these prices, I might go with the NX just because the Honda is not a value up there the way it is here. And the thing is with like Canadian pricing, it's not a one-to-one exchange, so you can't just do a currency conversion, and and it depends on what how much you make every year and what you can afford. So yeah. Okay, I'm really in doubt if I want to trade my ES 350 2015 with bulletproof V6 for the 2024 Crown model or ES Hybrid. Again, like I said earlier, if fuel economy is your goal and your one and only goal, then you can't go wrong with a Toyota Hybrid. But because you have a 2015 ES 350 with the bulletproof V6, I might do, if you can afford it, I might go and buy a brand new 2024 ES or Camry and get the last model of those with the V6, because I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing a new ES in the near future. Like in the next year or so. And so the V6 ES 350 and the V6 Camry, like what we bought, they will be going away, and I will miss them terribly. So I might do that if I were you. If you don't care about fuel economy, maybe go buy a new ES or Camry with the V6. This next question, regarding the toy cars in your Christmas card, where did you get them? Did you have them custom made? No, so I didn't really think anything of it when I made that Christmas card. I thought it would be fun and cute. And then I got a bunch of questions about it afterwards. So in Japan, Toyota sells, or they license to, like a toy car, a diecast car maker. They license all their designs, and in Japan you can buy pretty much any model in any color of any car out there as a toy car. And I'll put some video of the ones that we have in them. So we have a model car, pretty much of every car that we actually own, in the right color and the right spec. Although the Camry model that we have is a hybrid, not an XSE, and the RAV4, the GX is a Land Cruiser Prado, because they don't sell the GX in Japan. So, so they're like they look right, kind of, sorta, but they're not 100% right. But you can buy these if you can't get to Japan. You can buy these on eBay. So, yeah. But they're so fun. I've got them I have them in our loft on the TV table, and they make me smile. They make me happy that we have them. I also have an NX, and I've got our older Camry Hybrid, and we have the Prius as well, of course. Okay, what is your take on the new Land Cruiser? I have thoughts on the new Land Cruiser. I like that they brought it here, because we never got the Land Cruiser Prado here in the US. Your only option to buy a Land Cruiser Prado here was to buy this GX, and that's why I have this GX. I actually would not, if we had gotten a Land Cruiser Prado with the same V8 engine, which is, we probably wouldn't have anyway, They probably would have put some like V6 in it. I would have bought the Land Cruiser Prado and skipped the Lexus, but because we couldn't, I bought the GX. New Land Cruiser, so I like that we have it. I like that it's far cheaper than the new GX. And if I had to buy one or the other, I would probably go with the Land Cruiser, because if I can't get my V8 in either one, and I can only get the stupid Turbo 6, which I don't care for as an engine, in the GX, like that's all you can get in there now, I would go with the Land Cruiser, because I think the Hybrid Max powertrain is fine, and I think the way I would want a Land Cruiser would be about $60,000. So I've already said I think the new Land Cruiser is a little too expensive. Like, I think it should start at like 50 and then go up to like 62. And that would be acceptable to me. But the fact that it starts at 55 with that like terrible base model rental car spec interior, little too expensive. Okay, next question. Should I buy a Prius or a Prius Prime? I'm tempted to do what you did and buy the regular base Prius. Yeah, I know, I'll probably be waiting 5 years to get both. I really like plug-in hybrids, as you guys know. And I think the Prius Prime is an amazing car because it gets like 40 miles of range. It's a decent price relative to the market. But you can't beat the base model Prius. And the thing that's kind of annoying to me with and I get why it is, but it's still annoying to me nonetheless, is you can't get a Prius Prime with all-wheel drive because the battery is sitting in the car where the electric motor on the rear axle sits in an all-wheel drive standard non-plug-in hybrid Prius. So with the Prius, I think the decision comes down to, do I need all-wheel drive, in which case you have to get the standard hybrid, or can I live with front-wheel drive, in which case I would get the Prime. Same person asks, what are your thoughts on the UX versus Prius? Not sure why anyone would buy the UX now that the new Prius is so good. Okay, so real interesting, kind of good timing on my part with this video. So the UX has just been updated for, I think, the 2024 model year, and they have replaced the old engine with the new engine, which comes right out of the Prius, which, as you guys know, I thought made really good power, and it brought the Prius's 0 to 60 down to like, low 7-second range compared to like the 10-second range it used to be. So with the UX with that engine, I think would be fantastic. Now, the problem with the UX is the rest of the car is still old, and I think we'll probably see a new one in the next like year or 2 or 3 here, because that car is getting on in age. I also don't like the UX because it feels really cramped inside. The Prius feels really open, really roomy inside. I fit my bicycle, as you know, in my Prius when I had it. And I love the design of the new Prius, but the new Prius is also kind of polarizing. So if you want something that's more traditional looking and feeling, I think you might want to go with the UX. Okay. Or, same person, or should I get a Camry or ES with a V6 before it goes away? Any experience with them, still worth buying? So this question came in before I did the Camry video. Yeah, all day long. If I were... Okay, for me personally, because we live in Texas and gas is cheap and I can afford to, pay to fill up this, a not efficient car, I would go with the Camry or ES before the V6 goes away. I would skip the Prius and UX all day long. If that's the question, yes, go with the V6 before it goes away. And the Camry and ES both, I think both take, the Camry I know takes regular fuel. The ES I'm pretty sure takes regular fuel. So yes, do that. Okay, next question. Hi Josh. I always watch your videos on YouTube. I have a 23 4Runner TRD off-road premium. I'm thinking of trading it in for a 23 GX 460 Premium Plus, so exactly this car. Should I keep my 4Runner or trade it in with the V8 GX 460? I think it depends what you want the car for. 4Runner, I've always said, is more practical because it's more utilitarian, better off-road, or not better off-road, but I think I would not feel nearly as bad smashing and thrashing a 4Runner as I would with a GX. Especially because we're talking about buying a new one. They're both amazing cars, and they're both good. They're both cars to buy before they go away for all the reasons we talked about to this point in the video. All the things I love about the GX, I also love about the 4Runner, is what I'm trying to say. So they're both great. It just depends on how you want to use them, what you can afford, and what you want in the car. If you want a really beautifully plush ride, with a beautiful V8 engine, obviously the GX. But if you're okay with the more truck-like utilitarian ride in the 4Runner, maybe stick with the 4Runner. And then second question, do you know all the Lexus and Toyota models that are built in the Tahara factory in Japan? So Tahara plant is primarily a Lexus factory. So IS, LS, UX might also be made there. UX might be, though, the Tsutsumi plant alongside the Prius. I will figure it out and put a list here on screen because I don't know all the models that are made there. And they make some models that we don't get here in the US. Okay, next question. I know the GX is meant to be an off-road vehicle, taking people anywhere in comfort and style. However, I think Lexus is losing the luxury part with the new 2024 model, black everywhere, premium models without fog light, so on and so forth. Am I just paying for a badge now? Same with the new TX. Some arguing that the higher trim Grand Highlander are better value for the same features. What do you think? Need someone to tell me if they're on the right direction or not. Again, I've said this many times, I think, in other videos. I really do feel like you are paying for the badge now. Although, with the TX and the GX specifically, you get a bigger engine than you do in the Toyota counterpart. And I'm saying bigger, not better. Because I don't know that either one of them are great. So TX, if you go all the way up to that 550h plus, you can get the V6 plug-in hybrid. Where with the Grand Highlander, that is not an option, or at least not yet. And so you top out with a turbo hybrid 4 instead. But to your point, the interiors of those cars, and this is okay, I'm going to go back really quickly and throw some shade out at other people here on YouTube. People, like the people who go on these drive events, oh my god, it's beautiful, the materials, all this kind of thing. I'm like, I don't see it and I don't feel it. And I don't think, and some of them have owned Lexus cars, I'm sure, but like the big complaint I have with new Lexus cars is they feel like Toyotas inside. I don't see better materials. I don't feel better quality. I don't feel like I'm getting an elevated experience. Like if you looked at the difference between a 4Runner and a GX is profound in every way. Engine, interior materials, ride quality, just everything in my GX versus a 4Runner, huge difference. But I don't see that same difference today in the new Toyotas and the new Lexus cars. So I do think with the TX and the GX, you are really paying for the badge and the engine, assuming you actually go all the way up in the TX range for that. So you need someone to tell you if they're in the right direction or not. Hard to say. I don't like their new products. I don't think a lot of them. I would buy a Toyota all day long because it's not supposed to be a luxury vehicle. This GX is probably the last Lexus I will ever buy. And I'm just going to say that to you straight up because Lexus is also going all EV. I don't agree with that either. So this GX, probably my last Lexus, but one that I hope to hold on to for many years in the future. Okay, what is your experience with and opinion of the run flat tires on some of these cars? So the idea of run flat tires, some of the hybrids have them because they no longer come with a spare tire. So my thoughts and opinions on run flats is less to do with the tire itself and more to do with the reason that we have them in the first place. I do not like that automakers are taking spare tires out. They're doing it, once again, repeat after me, they're doing it for fuel efficiency, to save weight, because spare tires are heavy, and if you can take out a spare tire and get one more mpg or whatever, or save 25 pounds, of course we're going to do that. Screw the consumer. If they get stranded on the side of the road, that has no impact on our CAFE standards, our corporate average fuel economy standards, because and we saved $1 by not paying for a spare tire for every RAV4 or NX or Prius we make. So again, it's the whole premise of why they're there in the first place that I have a problem with. Because the thing if you don't have a spare tire, okay, and you get stranded on the side of the road, and that tire cannot be fixed, you are SOL. And in some of these cars, like the NX was never a road trip car for exactly that reason. The Prius was a car that we would take only like to Austin from here to Dallas, so maybe 2-3 hours, because there are lots of towns along the way where if I were to get stranded, I would be okay for the most part. Not a car I would take on a cross-country road trip, though. This GX and even the RAV4 Prime both have spare tires. This GX has a full-size, on a full fifth wheel, spare tire. That RAV4 has a donut spare. But at least having a donut spare, you can, kind of limp your way along. to the next town or something like that. But if you don't have a spare at all, SOL. Okay, continuing on. I watched your video on the RAV4 Prime, 5 things and good. I have a RAV4 Prime. XSC just got it in August. I'm up here in Wisconsin, and I noticed that you have changed your tires. I was wondering how you do for gas mileage with the new tires, which on the RAV4 Prime, we put Michelin Cross Climate2s on there, and they're freaking fantastic. I've heard you lose 2 to 3 mpg with them. I know I would like to change my tires. I don't believe the stock tires are good in snow. No, they're not, and they're eco tires and they suck. They're fine, but they're loud, and eco tires are meant to be low resistance, low rolling resistance tires, which obviously don't do well in snow and rain. So the Prime is interesting because of the plug-in hybrid powertrain, I never actually look at just the MPG number. I will say I think I lost maybe 3 to 4 miles of electric range by putting those tires on. But the trade-off of having much better tires with a much more compliant, comfortable ride, better handling, all that kind of thing, so worth the loss in range or mileage of the car, because I value, again, I'm not trying to eke out every last mile of MPG or electric range. So for me, no brainer. I love the Cross Climates. I'm looking because they're right out there, and I highly recommend them to any of you out there with a RAV4 or a crossover with all-wheel drive. They're just fantastic. I highly recommend them. But if you buy them from Tire Rack, you can do the whole tire certificate thing where they will fix or replace for free with that same tire at any discount tire. So do that. Yes. So that is it, you guys. I apologize. This video has probably been like uber long, and I didn't expect to get all these questions. So thank you guys. And if I missed any of your questions, I so apologize. I didn't omit anything intentionally. I just was trying to keep up and, like, again, extract as a question came in, like copy it over to my notes thing. Hey everyone, so as I'm sitting here editing the video, and as I'm like halfway through editing the video, I realized I totally forgot to even mention the giveaway that I promised you would be happening as part of this, my first year on YouTube celebration. So we are still doing a giveaway. Here's what it is, and here's how it's going to work. So one of you is going to win a Garmin Dashcam 47. This is, as you may know if you saw my video on my Garmin Dashcam experiment, this is my favorite dashcam, the one that is currently in our RAV4 Prime, and we also now have one actually in our new Camry. We absolutely love this little thing, and one of you is going to get to win this dashcam to try it out for yourselves. This is brand new, never opened, never set up. You get to do all of that fun stuff yourself. And here's how you're going to enter to win this Garmin Dashcam 47. So I thought long and hard and got some input from some of you about how we should do this. And some of you were rightfully a little bit concerned about providing your information to a third party like Rafflecopter or something like that. So here's what we're going to do. What you're going to do to enter the giveaway to win the Garmin Dashcam 47 is email me at joshscarsofjapan@gmail.com, email here on screen. You're going to give me your name, how you'd like me to address the package, essentially. I'm not going to ask you for your address right away. I'm not going to ask you for that unless you are the actual winner of the giveaway. Then you're going to tell me what your name or handle on YouTube is, so I can check and make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and one of our little fun group here on YouTube. And then 3 weeks after this video goes live, I will, just to give everyone enough time to actually watch the video and make it to this part, I will choose a winner on the date that's here on screen, and then I will email you back responding to the email that you sent to me, and at that point I will ask you for your mailing address so I can get this sent out to you if you win the giveaway. There will be no communication of that here in the comments. I will not ask you for your mailing address or any other personal information unless you are actually the winner. So if you get, for any reason, like a comment asking you for an address, do not respond to that. just look for my email from me asking you for that from, again, my email address. So yeah, good luck to all of you out there. This is an absolutely amazing dash cam, as you probably know if you watched that video. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And I apologize again for this kind of, you know, cut and splice type ending to it. But it's been an amazing year here on YouTube. I'm so happy and thankful to have had the space and, you know, all the community that you have helped me build here on YouTube. I really appreciate it, and this is my thanks to you. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Good luck, email me, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great one, and take care. Oh, and don't forget to stay tuned for the PPF video on our Camry, because that will be coming up here as well in the next month or so. So thank you guys again. Talk to you soon. Take care.